Hi boys and girls, it's Mrs. Simpson from Chapel Hill and my son Elijah. Today we are going to be showing you how to make some geometric origami shapes. Elijah is a pro at this, so I've asked him to help his mom out by doing this for us, and hopefully this will be something fun for you and your family to work on this week. Okay, so he's going to walk you through step by step here in just a minute.
All right, so I'm gonna be making two shapes. The first one is this icosahedron, which is just a pointy ball. It looks kind of hard to make, but it's actually really simple. And same goes with this star. So it's a bit of a small paper star. It's really fun to make, really easy to make. You can make a ton of them in like 5 minutes, so yeah. So for the star, for the small star, what you need is a piece of paper. I use just a normal piece of like printer paper, and I cut a 1/2 inch strip out of it. The thicker you make the strip, the harder it becomes to make the stars. So having a thin strip of paper is really easy and really good. And for the icosahedron, all you need is like a square piece of paper. So I just used a piece of printer paper and cut a square out of it. So perfect square. Pretty simple materials. Okay, so now I'm gonna make the paper star. This one's kind of like smaller and easier to make, and I think it's something that you can just make a ton of if you have a lot of time and put them in a jar and kind of look at all of them because they're really fun. And so same as before, I'm gonna go ahead and color the outside of this shape with like just a fun pattern so I can look at it after I finish folding it all together. So I'm just gonna do a little bit with some markers. You can do all kinds of things on this, make little tiny patterns, etc.
And does this work best on printer paper or construction paper?
It works best on printer paper because printer paper is easier to fold, it's more durable. So
yeah, and for all of the girls out there, if you have any scrapbook paper, the one that is thin.
Yeah, this works best, like really good with scrapbook paper too.
Yeah, and you can make a whole lot of really fun, pretty different colored ones with your scrapbook paper. Or
Yeah.
you can do what Elijah did and just color it on your own.
So we have this looking piece of paper, and as same as before, we take it and we put the pattern we just drew down on the table. And so this one, you're not making many folds, you're making you're kind of like tying it in a way. So this the first step might be kind of tricky, but it's like you're tying a knot. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this piece of paper and you're gonna fold it under, and then take it, this little flap that comes up, and fold it inside. And so you might need a bit more paper to do this properly. But we're just tying a small knot at the end of the paper, pretty much. And you're gonna see what this makes is kind of the shape of a pentagon. We're gonna pull this paper in like this, really gently, not to rip it. And you're gonna see this makes sort of a pentagon shape.
Let me put it down for a second so they can see.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a bit of a pentagon. We're just gonna go to make this nice and tight, but not too tight because we don't wanna break the paper or rip it. And we're just gonna flatten this down like so. So now we should have this kind of knot at the end of the paper with this bit hanging out. And so the first thing I'm gonna do is get rid of this little bit hanging out. So I'm gonna take this and gently fold it over on the back like this. And so it just hides underneath itself like this.
Okay.
And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this big long piece of paper and start folding it over itself. So the first thing we do is we just take this piece of paper and we just go ahead and where the edge of the paper is, we fold it along that. So like this edge right here. And all we're doing is wrapping this piece of paper around this entire pentagon. So we just take this and follow this edge right here and fold it like so.
Okay, so you're turning it upside down.
Yeah, I'm
every
turning
time you
it
fold
upside
it.
down, back and forth, kind of similar pattern. We're just gonna keep repeating this until this flap or this piece of paper is gone and it's all folded around the star. So this is a pretty simple step, pretty fun. And now we have this excess piece of paper right here. What we can do is we can tear this piece off because it's a little bit too long. And again with the flaps, like in the icosahedron, we can take this piece of paper and just kind of tuck it under this one right here. So it's nice little pentagon. And this is the base, believe it or not, for the star. And so what this is gonna turn into is this. This step might be a little bit difficult, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna gently squeeze the inside of each edge.
There we go.
Oops, I might have messed it up, but I'm gonna go ahead and take this. It's kind of hard to grasp if you really don't have fingernails. I don't really have good fingernails to grasp it, but I have a gentle squeeze on the center of each edge.
Okay, so you're pushing in.
I'm pushing in, and we're forming the star.
Are you pinching it as you push it in?
I'm pinching it as I push it in, yeah. And so after we do this, we should be left with a paper star. Pretty simple.
Very cool.
So what I have here is some markers. You can do this if you want to add some more color to your shape, because this is just a plain white ball. It's kind of boring. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and color on this and kind of make it my own kind of personal little fun shape. So I'm just using some regular markers here. I'm just gonna kind of doodle all over it, kind of make it fun colors and everything. You can kind of draw shapes, pictures if you want on these for fun. It all comes down to what you want to put on your shape. I'm just gonna do some fun little patterns for an example.
Can you tell us again, Elijah, what the name of this is again slowly?
So this is called an icosahedron. It's kind of a tricky name, but it's a cool name, I think, too, and it kind of it's just the name of the shape.
Do you know how many sides it has?
I don't, but all I know is that it's called an icosahedron.
Okay, very good.
Okay, so now that I have my fun piece of paper doodled, I'm gonna start folding it. So if you want your pattern to show up on the front, you need to fold it face down, because that's how origami kind of works in these kind of shapes. And the first kind of fold we're gonna do is a diagonal fold across the entire shape like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fold it across. Doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be pretty accurate. I'm just gonna give it a nice crease on the side, and I'm gonna unfold it and do the same thing again on the other side. So I'm making an X in the middle. Now once you have this, you're gonna fold the paper in half both ways. The same with this way too.
And you can use your nail, boys and girls, to crease the paper really well. If you see what Elijah's doing there, once it's folded, he uses his fingernail to crease it. So you have a really great straight line and a very deep line.
Yes. And so after you have this, you're gonna go ahead and fold these halves in half. And so this is when we start making the small folds. What we're basically doing right now is we're creating a grid on the paper out of creases. And so we'll keep doing this until we have a nice grid. And we're gonna go around the entire thing and just fold every half in half. Fold to the center and then fold back out.
And to find the center is using the marker that you made with the creases. You can find a big X right in the middle of the paper, and that will be your center point.
Yeah, right here.
I don't know if you can see that. Point to it again, honey.
Right here.
Yeah.
And so after you have all of this, now we're gonna start making more diagonal folds. So we have these grids. We're gonna fold this corner to this third square down here. Just gonna gently fold the paper down to this square, not all the way in half, because we already did that. We're just gonna fold to this small square right here. So we have this outside row of squares. And we're gonna do this all the way around the entire piece of paper again. Just every corner, we're gonna fold down to this third square down here.
So you're going into the inner corners.
Yes.
Okay.
This corner right here to this corner right here. Last one, this corner right here to this corner right here. So now after we have this, we're gonna fold this corner onto this middle point right here. So we're just creating like smaller little triangles every time we do this. It's almost like making one of those fortune tellers, like those origami fortune tellers. We're just gonna fold every corner into like this.
Yeah, and most of boys and girls, I think from 2nd grade on up, have done a fortune teller before. So this is pretty similar, except that you're just making a lot more creases and a lot more different, corners to match up.
Yeah. We're gonna unfold this all now. And the final corners that we're gonna fold in are these last corners, and we're just gonna fold these corners to this middle, like this one square. So it's gonna be tiny little triangles now. And we can keep all these folded in like this.
Okay, and something, boys and girls, that y'all can do with this too is try to find out how many triangles are in this 3-dimensional figure?
There's quite a lot now because we have all these diamonds now. We basically made a big grid of diamonds. And so what we do here is we keep the corners folded in, and this is kind of tricky, so I'll do it twice. But what we do is we take this corner edge right here, where this meets up, and we fold this down like this. So it creates kind of this shape. I'll do it again. You just take this and you fold it in like this. And now we have this kind of edge right here, and we'll take this and we'll just drag it in like this. And so we have this kind of pocket now. So I'll do this again. So we have, start from here. We're only focusing on this one area. So we fold this in half like this. And we take this crease now and we just fold it in like this, like so. And we do the exact same thing on this side. We just fold this corner in and we fold this edge crease down. And so after that, we just flatten this entire surface down. We should have a little diamond shape. So it looks like a diamond now.
That's super cool.
And so this is the base for our entire structure. And so now we're gonna do a bit more. We're gonna do like a bit more folding, so we're done. So we're gonna fold this right in. This triangle is gonna meet up with this one right here. To this triangle point to this little small triangle point right here. And we'll just fold this in like so and crease along this edge. And now we take this small triangle piece and we just fold it back over so it creates this kind of like almost flat. And we do the same thing on this side too. We fold this triangle to this triangle right here, crease on the edge, and then fold this triangle back. Here comes a bit more tricky part. So as you can see, we have these little pockets here. And each of these little sections have these little pockets. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open the pocket up and we're gonna take this piece right here and we're gonna tuck it into the pocket so it's nice. It's a nice snug fit, like so. So we're just gonna take our finger and poke it into the pocket so it fits right in like this.
Can you get a closer up in that?
Yeah. So all we've done is taken this triangle that was down here and folded it inside of here and tucked it in. So I'll do the same thing on this side too. I'll open this pocket up, I'll take this little flap and I'll just fold it in. And then close everything back down, crease everything back down again. It's kind of tricky to get right sometimes, so it takes a bit of practice, but I'm sure all of you can get it. So now we should have this kind of shape. And we're gonna repeat the exact same process on the back side. So we'll just take again this triangle right here and fold it into this one. And we'll crease along the edges. And fold this triangle back out again. And we'll take this triangle and fold it back on top of this one, crease along the edges, and fold this back again. And same as before, we'll take these last triangle pieces and we'll just tuck them into the pockets that we made before. So we'll just take it and tuck it in, like so. And crease along the edges. And last one, we'll just take this last little triangle piece and tuck it inside like this. Like this. And there we go. Now, of course, this does not look like anything like the shape, like the final shape. This is the fun part. So if you take all of the edges and kind of just open it up like this, it looks like a little empty shape and there's a small hole at the top. And what we do with the hole is you just blow inside of it. And it should inflate as this little small shape. And we can push down these little edges that pop out. And we'll see that the shape we just folded before has become three-dimensional. And we have a nice icosahedron. And it has our cool pattern on the outside like this. Isn't that really fun?
That is so cool. All right, boys and girls, I hope you have fun with that. Elijah, tell us how did you learn how to do that?
So I remember I was about in 5th grade or so, and I saw my friends making this, and I was like, how do you make this? And so basically I just asked them how to do this, and ever since I'd learned how to do it, it's kind of stuck with me. So it's really easy to learn. It's kind of easy to remember too, because you're just making a basic grid on the outside and kind of just tucking it in, blowing it up. So I think it's a shape that everyone can enjoy and everyone can make.
All right, boys and girls, we hope you enjoyed the origami geometric shapes, and post some of your work when you get yours done. I'm anxious to see it. Have a great one.